All right, Ron Goodall, FightHype.com. I'm here with Julius Ballo, who's a 15-time national champion, if I'm not mistaken. And if anything, he's going to make his pro debut against a really tough opponent, undefeated 2-0 Brandon Ayala at Madison Square Garden, July 26th on ESPN. How excited are you to make your pro debut on such a stacked card and an iconic venue?
It's a blessing. It's a blessing. I'm very, very excited. I make my pro debut July 26th at the Madison Square Garden Theater in New York. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get better than that. I'm just excited to, turn all my hard work and, make it pay off on that night and give the fans an exciting fight and, get this professional career started.
If I'm not mistaken, I think I've seen Overtime Boxing where you're co-promoted with Top Rank and Overtime say that you're 215 wins, 16 losses in amateur. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, correct. 200. Yes, I got a co-promotional deal between the two, and yeah, my amateur record was 215 and 16 losses. Yes.
Now, you fought a lot of guys and you just didn't fight them, but you beat them. Emiliano Vargas, Jamal Harvey, was Olympian, Keith Colon, Steven Navarro, who obviously right now as a pro is looking like a beast. I mean,
Mhm.
these are a lot of great amateur wins. So just curious, it seems like it's an obvious transition that you're going to do well, but what's different from your training from the amateurs to what you're doing now?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely it's definitely a big difference. In amateurs, you really, you're playing that game. That's the style that we mastered. Kind of that Cuban style. Touching them and making them miss and making them pay. At the end of the day, it's boxing. But in the pros, you gotta be a little more tighter. You gotta break them down. It's gonna be a longer fight, and you really, got no headgear on. You got the 8 ounce gloves on. So you really got to sit down more, and you can't fall asleep 1 second. And really, really focusing on boxing them, and then beating them up round by round, and breaking them down, and then potentially taking them out of there.
Watching a lot of your amateur fights, like you have a very flashy, slick style. So, just curious, like who were some of the people that you were inspired by and who'd you watch? Because like you're very slippery. I know you said amateur style, Cuban style, but no,
Yeah,
it was a little bit like Purnell-esque, flashy a little bit. So,
yeah. Then a couple people that I watched, a Cuban that I watched a lot was in amateurs was Andy Cruz. Andy Cruz, I watch Andy Cruz a lot. The couple pros I watched was Floyd Mayweather, um, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao. Anyway, an oldie I watched was Sugar Ray Leonard. You
hmm.
know, but yeah, I mean the flashy style is just me having fun sometimes. You're in there and you're doing what you love. You're gonna have some fun with it, put some swagger with it.
Yeah, but you were doing it against like top amateur guys. So, I mean, just kind of noticed it a little bit. Maybe you were too much comfortable or too much swag. So,
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Yeah, sometimes it comes out of me. Sometimes it's not good, but I only do it when I feel comfortable.
awesome. I'm just curious, I know you sparred guys like Roman Chocolatito. I'm not sure if you sparred Abdullah Mason, but I think you did some
Yeah,
camp
me
with
and
him.
me and Abdullah Sport, yeah.
Okay. Who's some other guys? Just curious, that you got some work with.
I get asked this question a lot. I
I,
just so many people I had Chocolatito, like you kind of helped me. You kind of just helped me out. Like I would, if you would just ask me, I would have said those names. But like, yeah, you're right. I've sparred Chocolatito. I've sparred Abdullah. I was supposed to spar Shakur actually.
hmm.
Um, but he hurt his hand. That fight, he hurt his hand. I was actually there. Like I just got there that day,
Oh,
and
okay, in Vegas.
No, it was in Colorado. It was in
Oh, okay, you're
Colorado.
talking about
Yeah,
prior, but for the fight, when he fought De Los Santos, right?
yeah, I believe it was one of those fights. But I was pulled up in Colorado. That was one spot I was looking forward to. But yeah, we sparred a lot of top notch people, man. Like Abdullah Mason. We sparred Chocolatito. Chocolatito is a hell of a fighter.
Hmm.
But yeah, you got to help me out with these names.
No, it's all good. I do a little research, but
Yeah,
regardless at the end of the day, sparring, amateurs, none of that stuff matters. The
I
professional
don't
fight,
know. Yeah.
that's your first win. I know we've seen a lot of people make pro debuts and it didn't go their way. So what do you know about Brandon and what makes this fight so exciting for you outside it's your pro debut?
Yeah, what I know about Brandon, he's a great fighter. He's 2-0 with one knockout. but he's not on the same level as me. So I'm gonna go in there and show that there's levels to this. And yeah, that's basically it. And I'm excited to go on and show the fans my style and start this journey to become world champion.
What do you think about your division, the featherweight division that you're competing in right now? Like, do you think it's a pretty healthy, talented division? You think there's some stat guys in there? Just one of your perspective on the health of it.
Yeah. There's a definitely a good division. Definitely top notch fighters in there. You got Espinoza. You got my boy Bruce Shushu. You got up there. You got Leo, Angelo Leo. You got Nick Ball. So it's a matter of time. We'll slowly come up there and we'll be top dog.
Outside of Shishu, because I know it's your guy. Like, do you think
Yeah.
any of those guys would stick around long enough, or you just see like those guys, especially Espinoza, he's gonna get out. But do you
Yeah.
see like a Nick Ball maybe hanging around a little bit? Do you see maybe a Leo or some one of these guys that may be something you might see in the future?
Yeah, definitely could be possibility.
Mhm.
We just have to wait and see.
Awesome. I have to ask there was this clip that I think a couple years ago you went up to
Uh,
Terrence, made some
yeah,
jokes, like, I heard you got a problem with me, right? Do you
yeah,
normally do
bro.
your training out in Colorado Springs? Because that's where it looked like that was, or was that
Yeah,
when you
that
had
was
to?
that was a time where I was Team USA, so I was out
Mhm.
there at the Olympic Training Center and training. And then we got invited to go down to see Crawford, and I ended up beating like that month before. I was at the Golden Gloves. I won the national Golden Gloves, and I beat one of the guys from his gym. So when I walked in, he called out his that guy. He said, "Hey, you this the guy that beat you?" And then he said, "Yeah." He said, "Man, we got a problem with you." When I walked in, he said, "We got a problem with you. You can't come here." And then that's when a couple of minutes later, we're just talking. I pulled out the camera and we got that viral clip.
I'll be remiss, obviously it's probably the biggest fight to be made in boxing. So with your IQ, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming there's some sort of bias towards like, especially like the relationships that you built throughout, but just as an observer, like
Mhm.
without predicting who wins, but how do you think the fight plays? Is it going to be an action-packed fight, a technical fight? Is there going to be some serious moments when someone gets hurt? Like just your overall perspective.
You talking about Canelo and Crawford?
Hmm.
There's nothing biased on that fight at all. I believe Crawford's a great fighter. I believe it's gonna be tough for Crawford. Feel like he's moving 2 weight classes, so we're gonna have to wait and see if that power and that speed can carry to 168.
Hmm.
And if it does, I definitely think Crawford's the guy that could beat Canelo with his IQ and his adaptability. Canelo's also not a pushover. He's a hell of a fighter, and think I'm gonna sit back that night and enjoy the show.
Awesome. A couple last things I want to ask. Your cousins with Johnny Mansour, right?
Correct, yes.
So like, were you both boxing at the same time? Did one convince
Yeah.
who? Like, how did that happen? That both you guys.
So I started boxing at 3 years old, and he started boxing at I believe 8 years old. We were at my grandma's house, and I was doing my chilling with my cousins, and my dad, did the routine. It's 5 o'clock. Got to go to the gym. At the time, I was, I believe, 5 years old. And my dad took me to the gym, but before we went, we were all swimming at my grandma's house. And Johnny was there, and he said, "Yo, like, where are you going?" I said, I gotta go to the gym with my dad. We're gonna go train boxing." And he said, "Oh, I'm gonna come." And he came with us. And my dad told him, to sit down and don't train, just watch. And that's how he fell in love with the sport.
So it's just you guys went swimming and now you both are like super amateur standouts turning pro, right? Like,
Exactly. My dad brought us both into the sport, and yeah, we're both grinding it out, and starting our professional careers. Believe he's 5-0 now or 4-0.
mhm.
But yeah, we're both rocking out right now, and God willing, we'll both become world champions.
You guys just didn't want to do swimming classes instead, just a little bit less, or no, you guys have a lot more fun with boxing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to answer that question, man, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
Awesome. Well, before I let you go, I know you have like a YouTube channel. You do a lot of
Yeah.
content, punching watermelons and stuff like that. Like, where do you get time to do stuff like that as well as box? Like, because most times people usually they take time to rest, but you seem like a creative kind of guy, and obviously want to give you a plug of your channel. It's like 130,000 subs. So, like, what was the inspiration behind all that?
Yeah, I mean, the content, all the social media, I'm blessed to have a lot of social media support, across all platforms, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. It's the best, nothing without my supporters. But what gives me, all that content, honestly, just having fun, really to having fun, and it honestly comes by itself. When we're training and think about an idea, and then we just bring it to life, and then and you never know. I mean, my most viewed video is, I believe, like 50 million views. So it could reach a lot of people.
Awesome. Well, before I let you go, for the fans that are going to be watching on ESPN or at the Madison Square Garden Theater on July 26th, like I said, Stat Card, you got your boy Shushu, Xander. I mean, there's so much talent on there. What do you want to tell the fans out there that will be watching this before I let you go?
Definitely tune in. If you're not gonna be there at the MSG, you can watch it on ESPN Plus, and I believe on the fifth fight on the card. You tune in and expect an exciting fight, and we're gonna handle business July 26th.